let's go into Loma, man. So Loma, he won this weekend. He looked a little pedestrian, which is kind of putting kindly, but in traditional Lomachenko fashion, he came on the end after he was able to kind of make his reads and download some of his data. As soon as I unfreeze, I'll be able to finish my point. But I think to the bigger point, who was sitting ringside, we had your man Devin Haney, who got into the ring, and as Loma said to him, he had, they asked Devin Haney, "Is this a fight that you want next?" He did say he wanted, and Loma responded, was like, "This guy looks like a heavyweight." He looked almost a little bit intimidated. Devin Haney just replied that we'll see once we get into that ring. But Coach Dave, since you haven't had a chance to talk in about a half an hour,
so let me talk some damn boxing analysis, which I instead of boxing finance, ain't nobody on here no damn accountant. Can we analyze some fights and shit? All right.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
in a nutshell, I thought the fight was probably a little bit closer than some of the cards, bro. I do think that kid, man, was putting it on, in the beginning of that fight. He was just doing a little bit too much more moving than I thought, because Loma was definitely willing to come. I think the guy could have took advantage of his size if he just stayed still a little bit and let Loma come on and walk up into some of that shit. This fight really, really could have been a much, much different fight. Now, I did enjoy looking at it. I do totally agree with what you said about, Loma looking a little pedestrian. And in regards to him fighting Devin Haney is going to whoop Lomo's ass. He is going to beat Lomo's ass, and he's going to frustrate Lomo. I ain't saying he's going to stop him and knock him out, but Lomo is in for a damn fight with this kid.
I just don't see how he's going to be able to overcome just the physical and athletic dimensions of Devin Haney. The guy is way bigger than him. He has a long jab that he stays behind, and I see Loma kind of running himself into some hard right hands if he's trying to avoid that jab, or he doesn't see it. I'm not sure if he's going to get stopped. I think he can get stunned, and you might see him backtracking a little bit.
Is it a good fight? That's the question, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight.
I tell you why it's a good fight. I tell you exactly why it's a good fight. It's a good fight, number one, because look, this cat was bigger than Lomo. Lomo felt like, okay, I've been away. I had something to prove. He's gonna feel like he got something to prove against Devin. Even in his current past fight, Lomo was actively hunting, aggressive, coming after this kid, hands down. I think with Devin, if you take a look at his second fight, even with Kambosos, man, Devin was a little bit more aggressive. Didn't get the stoppage, but I think he was going after Kambosos' ass. Now, you put together Lomo trying to prove something and be aggressive like he was with this fight, and you mix that with Devin Haney on the hunt also and possibly standing still, you're going to have a very exciting fight. It ain't going to be no chess match and all that shit like him and Shakur.
Jab and grab. That's what.
So Boston, let me ask you this question. So, because a lot of you were before you saw Lomachenko's latest fight and before you saw Devin Haney in the ring with him, a lot of you were saying that he shouldn't take this fight. So
that was based off the weight cut. That was based off the weight cut. It wasn't based off of.
He's still. That's what I'm saying. So you saying based off the weight cut because you think that's going to negatively impact his performance.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So, do you still see that, or do you think, based on what Loma showed you in the ring this past Saturday, that it still wouldn't be enough for Loma to be able to overcome those physical disadvantages that?
It depends. Like, when is the fight? Is the fight in January, or is the fight in April or May or June? Like, how much longer is Devin Haney going to have to make that weight?
Go ahead. I'm glad you just mentioned that. And then now I think Bob Arum is trying to give Loma an out because the day before the fight or the interview before the fight, he was saying, yeah, I want to make that Haney fight if Loma looks good in this next fight, meaning the fight against Ortiz. So now they can come up and say, no, I think Loma needs one more tune-up before Haney.
I think that's what Loma said. I believe in ESPN. ESPN does some real shady shit with their editing and what they choose to air and what they display. Because if I'm not mistaken, Loma said something, the post-fight interview when Devin Haney's in the ring with him, towards the end of that interview, I could have swore somebody mentioned that Loma said, I need more work to get ready, or I need another fight, or something to that effect. Like,
so think about that. Now think about that.
That weight.
So if you Haney that's already struggling to make that weight, now you thinking maybe a year and a couple.
Nah, you gotta move up.
I think he just vacates at that point, man. And then
he may have to.
It's a win-win for Top Rank in Loma if that's the case.
Well,
why would it take a year to make this fight? I mean, they're both top.
If there's another fight, if there's another tune-up fight for Loma.
Oh, yeah, you saying he's a tune-up? I think Loma. I think he was saying maybe just to kind of maybe more training but I don't think that he was talking about getting into another. But I'll go and check that though. But he's saying that so your point, Boston, was that you felt that Loma said that he might need another fight to kind of get his bearings about himself.
Yeah, and if he needs another fight, that means Devin's gonna have to fight another mandatory. And I just he might be better off just bouncing and running after guys like Ryan Garcia and Teofimo. Those are more lucrative fights, to be clear, right? The Teofimo and the Ryan Garcia fight are more lucrative. And look, it's not the same caliber of scalp. It's not the same quality of boxer that Loma is, but you're going to get more credit in the court of public opinion for going after full-sized 140-pounders. As you know what the Paulie Malignaggi's are going to say. Oh, let me not say Paulie. The Lomachenko fans are going to say that the Lomachenko, because it's already started, right? He's a small 135-pounder. Look at how big Devin is. He goes in there and beats Loma's ass, even if he has to murder himself to make weight and he wins. I don't think it's as meaningful as going up to 140 and going after a guy like Teofimo, because again, he's undisputed at 135. He could always exercise his WBO, whatever that little WBO clause, where you can jump right up and fight either the champ or fight the number one guy. And to me, going right into a Teofimo fight is not some huge step up for Devin Haney. So if it were me and Loma's not willing to take this fight ASAP, I'm going to the WBO and I'm saying, hey, I want the winner of the Catterall and who's the other guy? What's the guy's name?
Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor fight, or I want the number one, who is Teofimo Lopez. But that's the fight I want.
And then that don't let Lomachenko off the hook, because guess who's
it's got Shakur, and that's even better.
Got the WBO at 130 that can exercise that same right.
And you so does Shakur had that one, but he already vacated though.
Did he?
Yeah, he lost his belt on the scales.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, 140 now.
But still, Top Rank is still going to feed him to Shakur. So like you said, Randy, it really is a win-win for Top Rank, because that way you get to feed Loma to Shakur without having Devin beating him up first.
Well, I mean, I still see the fight being made. I think that I know. I just think so. One thing with Loma is that he's smart, and he realized that he needs to kind of knock off some of the rust and this, even though it wasn't his best performance, he still did get the win. And I think that he might even be banking on a hard weight cut for Devin Haney. And this is his best shot because all of those, unless Devin Haney goes and vacates, and then all of the belts will be fractured. But if you watch any of the interviews leading up to the fight, he said the only thing that matters to him is undisputed. He said, but to Lomachenko.
Lomachenko, right.
He said the only thing that matters to him is, and this is his best opportunity. If not, he's going to have to go and pick those belts up pieces by pieces. And, that's why we fight the fights, and that's what makes it interesting, particularly if there is some amount of risk or danger on the other side. And even though he can, I can envision a very long night, and a very stiff back, because usually that's what happens when the jab keeps popping you in the forehead. I can see his back tightening up from that Devin Haney left jab. But I think that he is in the pocket. Well, Bob Arum is in the pocket of Lomachenko, and I think he's going to push to have that fight in the spring.
Whoa, you said that Bob Arum is in Loma's pocket?
Yeah, I think that for some reason Bob Arum wants to sell us the fact that Lomachenko is a star, but this is somebody who said who compared Lomachenko to Muhammad Ali. I haven't seen these type of skills since Muhammad Ali.
Well, that was before Lomachenko lost, and it was before he started losing money on Lomachenko, because quietly
I just
ain't no money off that dude neither.
So this is what I'm betting on. I'm betting on Lomachenko taking a tune-up fight and then going the WBC route. If he does that, all he has to do is fight. If Haney moves up, Lomachenko will be fighting Isaac Cruz for the empty WBC.
Well, yeah, because Isaac Cruz is number 2 in both the WBO and the WBC.
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, in our previous scenario, if Shakur can move up to fight for the WBO belt, I don't think Lomachenko won't that either. I think he'll go after the WBC, a vacant WBC with Isaac Cruz.
Well, interestingly, getting back to a point we made earlier, according to Boxing Scene and their rankings, Shakur Stevenson is still the WBO champion, but he is no longer the WBC champion. He still has the WBO belt, according to Boxing Scene, which has been updated since that Stevenson Conceição fight. So he may still be the WBO champ. He still may have the ability to exercise that fight against whoever the champion is at lightweight. It's gonna get interesting, especially the Isaac Cruz angle. That we talked about that last week, man. The problem is we don't know what the hell PBC's network situation is come next year. It's too late to make those fights for this year, right? We're already first week in November. Those type of fights aren't going to get made until next year. And if PBC doesn't have a network,
So
I don't know.
I mean, who network would that be on? If is Lomachenko fighting Cruz for the?
It would have to be on ESPN if PBC doesn't have a network.
So I don't see why that would be a holdup for that fight.
I mean, I don't know that what's the look. Hopefully it works out and it's no issue. The WBC convention, I believe, is next week. So that's when all these fights are going to get called. That's when fights are going to be ordered. That's when fights are going to get mandated. That's when people like Loma, like Isaac Cruz at lightweight, like Carlos Adames at 160 pounds, David Benavidez at 168 pounds. That's when people are going to go to the WBC, make their case for who gets to fight who next. So what we're discussing now, it's going to be a lot clearer come next week. I got to look and see when exactly the convention is, but we'll have a lot more answers to these questions this time next week, we won't have to speculate.
And to go back to the actual fight itself, man, I was slightly impressed by Jermaine Ortiz. I mean, for a young fighter, I think in a couple more years, if he stay at the weight class, he's going to be a force.
He had to kick a fight.
I think that's a
Kick
good
a fight.
point. He can fight. This is Professor NIMS. I'm signing off for my man, Coach Dave.
Rude, man. Rude.
The Casual Ran.
Peace.
And Boston Jarrett. Keep it popping. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe. And like what you said, we want to give you the most educated opinions on the net. All right, peace out.